real good. Real good.
Oh, yeah, I'm always a fan.
Yeah, I just had never listened to like a full album. I've only listened to like individual songs. Albums are really good.
Yeah, I kind of like wore out that soundtrack, like all three of them, to the point where I got tired of it and just like, I guess I'm done.
But he's really fucking. I mean, I knew he was talented, but like he's like real talented though.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, he like real talented though, not like just regular talented.
No, my only problem is like he very clearly knows it.
Yeah,
and so he's at that point now where I feel like he's gonna. I'm worried he's gonna go the way of Kanye West, and just get like exceptionally weird.
Yeah. Oh, Kanye.
Fucking Kanye.
I got in a debate with my high school students about Kanye.
Really?
Yeah, because they were like, I was like, they're like, what, they're like, do you listen to hip hop? I'm like, a little bit. I was like, my wife's been getting me into it more because she's into it. So they're like, oh, who do you like? I was like, I really like Kendrick Lamar's album. I really liked Meet the Carters. The Jay-Z Beyonce album is really good. And they were like, oh, who don't you? I was like, I cannot fucking stand Kanye West. They're like, oh, why? I was like, no. Musically, like, I can totally tell you, like, I can understand, like, why he's good. Like, why he is as renowned as he is. I'm like, I just think he's an annoying fucking human being, and I don't like supporting him.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's an idiot. I think he, like, I like, without listening to his music nearly as much as I probably should to make any like real statements, I think he is just a moron who gets by on false, who seems more intelligent than he is. I think like people like look at him and like, oh wow, you're so woke. And I'm like, I'm not. No, I don't really think you are. I think this is like occasional performative wokeness, and this is all just a ploy for money.
Yeah, I think one of my students I was talking to about it, who really likes hip hop, he put it in perspective of he's just really good at marketing. You may not like how he markets. Because like when he wants to get attention for something, he'll say just something outlandish, which does exactly what he wants.
Sure.
Everyone pays attention to him.
Sure.
Because when he made all those other last comments, he had an album coming out. So he starts making just like...
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And so I was like, what? That's a good point, but that just means I don't really like him. So for example, I haven't really dug Drake's music that much, but I find him far less annoying. I just make fun of him because he's on Degrassi.
Nah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, I don't actually have a problem with Drake. I just don't particularly like his music.
Yeah.
I like whenever I put it in or I try it out, like he came out with that new album and I was like, I can't, like, I don't really, like, it feels very mundane.
Yeah.
It feels like adult contemporary hip hop.
It is. And I'm like, you were on Degrassi.
Mm-hmm.
We're at.
Anyway, so we should probably get started, right?
Yes, we should.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Dumb Dads. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And this is episode 44 for December 14th. If you were paying attention, look, this is all me. This is a busy time of year for us, so I didn't get the last episode edited until nearly, what was it? Like, I released this thing Wednesday, right?
Wednesday? Was it Wednesday?
It was Wednesday. Okay. So let's be honest. We're not gonna we've been saying we're gonna have bonus episodes with the whole holiday thing, but I think these are just gonna be our episodes for a while.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You love Christmas, so I mean, I love Halloween. I wanted them to be our main episodes, and you said no, but that's whatever. It's fine.
Well, I mean, I feel like we owe it to people. But it's also the holidays, end of the semester, and all the things are happening now. So realistically, we are going to have to just make this a regular episode.
And don't worry, there's so much I want to get to about these movies.
Is there? This was a real gem.
So much.
These are okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and go through our regular routine since we are doing a technically normal episode.
Sure.
So do you have why don't you do an adventure in dadding first?
Cool. You know what? It's funny. My adventure in dadding this week. So normally I talk about all the things that are going wrong in my dadding, which is just funny shit that your kids do that are annoying. But sure. So Miles is starting to do something that I think is really cool, and I have just really enjoyed watching.
Okay, cool.
And it's the development of imagination, not like full on like playing games and like he's not there yet, right? Like we have a while, but it's little things like, so I'll give you an example. It's easier that way. So we've been listening to these super simple sing-alongs, and there's a song where it's called Walking in the Jungle, and the end of the jungle, they're it's like, we see a monkey. Are you afraid? No. And the last one's, we see a tiger. Are you afraid? And it's
yes,
like, yes,
it's a fucking tiger.
And they go run. So Miles has been walking around going, like singing the song. He'll go, it's a tiger, run. And then he'll run around the house. And it's awesome because to me, it's so cool to watch him make that connection of like, it's a game, right? Now it's like, it's a game that he's pretending and using stuff he's learned. It's a new thing and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like that, next step besides just playing by himself or doing stuff, but like, or wanting you to interact in the game too. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. It's just one of those milestones that I knew was coming, but like when it actually happens, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, those are really good moments.
Yeah.
Because like now it's like, okay, I'm fine. Like it really feels like being a parent now. It's like, okay, like I get to play with you.
Yeah.
Like, we get to actually play instead of just make sure you don't kill yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, and you and I have talked about it before. I've found things that I've really enjoyed about all these different phases of being a parent over the last 2 years. Like I really liked the mush phase because the mush phase. I know this sounds silly.
The mush. Like when there's just a big pile of mush.
Because it was easy. And in a lot of ways, it's the hardest part because you're adjusting. But it's also in retrospect really easy because they sleep a lot, right? And you can just kind of hang out with them. And
yeah, I didn't like that phase.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. We know. But, we talked about it.
Yeah, but for me, like it was nice because it allowed me to transition to where now like is gone. You don't get to just do your own thing anymore.
Sure.
You get to do it a little bit. You can go off and do something, but now he wants to interact so much, which is also cool. So my adventure today is just really watching these different phases happen and just appreciating how cool it really is. Like it's really cool to watch him become
a kid,
a quasi person,
a quasi person. No, I feel like once you're playing and you have awareness, like you are a person.
Yeah. So that's my adventure. I was, my son's doing funny. I mean, he's funny anyway to me, but just doing funny shit. I think it's fun.
Sure.
What's yours?
So I have, I feel like I probably talked about this before, and if I have, I have a secondary adventure if need be. But I realized a couple days ago, like my existence is problematic for parenting a girl.
What do you mean?
So
I might agree with you, but I want to know what you mean.
So I am a very snuggly person. Like just like in general, like my wife and I are like if we are in the same vicinity as each other, we are probably like wrapped up 3 different ways of snuggle. And so of course having a kid that I love and adore and I'm incredibly affectionate with, I want to do that with her too. I'm like, I love you, kid. Let's hug. Let's like, oh, here are our smooches, smoochie attack. Yeah, whatever, kid. And what I've started to realize is like, sometimes she'll be like, Daddy, no. And I'll go, oh, smoochie attack. And I'm like, oh shit. I am literally teaching her that like the men should get to say whatever, and that your saying no doesn't matter. And like sometimes she'll laugh and play and whatever, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still problematic in teaching like this lesson from an early time. It's like, look, this is a thing that you don't get to decide for yourself. Like if somebody wants to kiss you, they're going to kiss you, and that's okay. And I realized like these are things that like I guess in my own personal life that like I thought I was aware of, and I thought I consider, and I wonder if maybe I don't as much as I thought I did.
That's a good insight, and I don't know. I think it probably lands somewhere in the in between, because some of it is a game and they're a kid, and like because it's so weird because no is an important thing, right? It's an important thing they learn because it's their first agency. Yeah. Because Miles will do that too. Like you'd play and be like, no, Daddy.
But I think that's a situation where like, especially for men and women, that actually I think is a difference.
See, I would disagree with you.
Really?
But, yes, because I think understanding and having the ability to say no and to stop something that you don't want, whether you're a man or a woman, especially because you don't know like what our kids are going to identify gender wise. You don't know what they're going to identify sexually. Because like in this sense of Miles, right? Like, let's say he identifies as homosexual. Like you don't know what that dynamic's going to be. So that sense of no can be just as important in a relationship for him. And I think with guys, we devalue it. Like, oh, you're a dude. It's fine. You don't need to learn no. Like no doesn't matter.
Okay.
I understand why you would say it's more important for a girl. I get it because even for me, like
sure, no, I see your point.
Yeah.
I see what you're arguing here.
But I also think it's with that whole idea. So you're right. I think it's important that when your kid says no at this early age, that you acknowledge that and that you follow through with that, so they can learn that that's okay to use that in a way that when they need space. But I think it's also important for us as parents to understand when it's a game of no too. So like you don't have to completely not do like the kiss attack or the snuggle attack.
Right.
Because I do that with Miles, right? But there are times when you can feel him be like, no, he doesn't want to do it, and then you have to back off.
Sure. And I mean,
it's a great realization on your part, though. It's really important.
I mean, it's one of those things where like, and we're gonna get, we'll probably, I mean, not to give away the goose, but we're gonna get into this a little bit later too. But like, I feel like a lot of the things in my world, they teach the opposite lesson that I actively want to relay. This is one of those things that like I've always said, and like, oh, of course everybody knows this is a thing, and then I didn't really put any effort into because she was so small. But now that she's getting a little bigger and that she's starting to understand the world and exist in it, like all of these things I've always been so anxious about and irritable about, like they're starting to actually matter. Like the whole princess thing, and like can I just say, like buying Christmas presents is a pain in the ass when you have a girl, because like if you buy a little girl outfit, and if you just click like the girl's clothing, you get pink everything, or flowers. And look, I have no problem with flowers. Flowers are adorable. It's cute, whatever. But my point is like, I went searching for like, okay, I'm going to get her like something really like, something like one of those like big strong messages. Fucking nothing out there. I was like, okay, you know what, fuck it. Let's see what happens if I click boys. There's science, there's dinosaurs, there's like astronauts, there's all these fucking planets. And I was like, God damn it, like I know this, I do, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, why is it every animal that's on a goddamn girl's outfit is a unicorn, and and like any other animal can be on a boy's shirt? Like everything has to be pink for the girls section, and boys get every color in the rainbow.
Except if you're a boy, you don't get unicorns, and you don't get flowers, and you don't get.
No. I'm specifically thinking about Target. There were outfits with unicorns in Target.
In Target, so this is an interesting thing because you're caring about some of those things. If you go to the store, it's a unisex brand that has those shirts that are both for boys and girls. Miles has some of them because they fit him really well, and we like it for that reason, that they're unisex clothes. But yeah, I think you're totally right. That's that's an issue that you deal with in a much different way than we do. Because like I kind of get to dress him in everything that I want to dress him in because that's all the shit that I like, and so it's all there for me. But for Sarah, like, you know, she doesn't get the cute girl clothes, which she actually does. Really,
and like, don't get me wrong, like it's really fun going to like look at dresses and seeing frilly whatever dresses, and like I really enjoy buying that stuff too. But I also like, I wanted to get her, like I was trying to fit, like she bought I think I've mentioned this before, she likes Star Wars, which maybe that should be a story I tell later, but she likes Star Wars, like I'm gonna get her a Star Wars shirt, and I couldn't find one. Like the only Star Wars shirts I had were like, I'm a princess, and it's like Leia, and it's like, okay, but you're still literally fucking saying like Leia princesses, like no, fuck you, like why can't like show the like people with a gun and be like I rule the galaxy or some shit, like
just buy boy shirts.
Yes, that's what I've done. Like that is what I do. Like just to be clear, like any clothes that are underneath that Christmas tree came out of the boys section right now, but because I
think what you're gonna find is when, and again, because I can reference my older niece, as they get older, like older, you're going to be able to get them a lot more of the stuff that you find interesting. I think it's just when they're little, it's much more tailored. So I totally agree. It's fucking problematic, and those things should be available for both genders, because comic books and stuff have made a push to incorporate girls into it, but by boy shit. I would be upset. Listen, I'd be the same way you are.
Grumble.
Because I want my kid, girl, boy to like that shit that I do.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew.
All right. So I think that's going to bring us to our topic for the week, and that is our our holiday Ho-Ho-Hullabaloo.
I'm gonna call this episode "Movies for WASPy White People."
Oh, it's so much worse than that.
Oh, dude.
So first off, let's remind everybody the movies we're watching this week. So we decided to do a. Let me know. I decided we were going to do a coupling of Irving Berlin's,
which is bullshit because I'm hitting you next year with this. By
White
the way.
Christmas and Holiday Inn, and the reason why initially was because I had learned that White Christmas, which has long been one of my favorite Christmas movies,
movie,
is actually a reimagining of Holiday Inn.
Really?
Which came 12. Yes.
Yeah, I believe you. Just,
like you. So I read this while I was looking up like the movie title. Like I was trying. I don't remember what I was trying to find out, but I was looking up Holiday Inn. Oh, I think I was trying to see if they still they still have the scene in it.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh yeah,
they do.
But so I was looking it up, and I guess the story goes. So Holiday Inn came out 12 years before White Christmas, and my understanding is that after the rampant success of Bing Crosby's White Christmas song from Holiday Inn, that they subsequently decided we can make a shit ton of money if we just like remake this movie completely around that concept.
So it's the Halloween slasher movie.
So yeah, basically it is the philosophy
Yeah.
of like, let's just remake this movie, change some things, and cha-ching. So it came out in 1952, capitalized off a little bit of the World War II nostalgia, and reimagined again a failing inn that needs the musical talents of Bing Crosby and a dancer person.
Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire in Holiday Inn, and I can't remember that guy's name. The second
Dane
one,
Kelly, I think. Hold on, it's important because I actually really like him. And I sent you a gif of Stewie dancing with him in response to that because I really like him.
Yeah, and it's in the that was actually in Family Guy back when I actually watched it.
Oh,
so it's
man.
one of the first like 2 or 3 seasons back when it
So
was.
this
whatever.
is really I do want to start with this because we bring up the.
So you had a wait. Oh, you already did your joke, didn't you?
Danny, yeah. This is WASPy White People movies.
Yeah, okay.
This is what you watch when you're like, I'm kind of afraid of black people and I need wholesome movies.
So
This is what you grew up watching, wasn't it?
yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna, I don't want to, I don't know how to say this very nicely, but like, yeah, look, I come from the Midwest,
So
from
do I.
a very small town conservative family. Yeah, like Irving Berlin was like a staple of like,
Yeah, it was.
Midwestern, wholesome family fun.
So watching these movies and knowing that you grew up with this, really, it just cemented the quintessential difference between my family Christmas and your family Christmas. My family Christmas is like National Lampoon's Griswold's Laugh Your Ass Off funny movies. Yours is like do 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 do.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
Christmas.
absolutely.
And this
like
is-
watching the 1950 something version of A Christmas Carol.
We did
I
do
still
that,
to this
but-
day watch the black and white over the color version, the original version of Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh yeah.
All of like the wholesome movies
And, like,
are like definitely up there.
We
for
didn't
me.
watch any of those. We watched like A Christmas Story and like the Rudolph stuff.
Oh, just that one.
But like ours was like the Bill Murray Scrooge was a big hit in our
Yeah.
house.
All right, so here is where I want to take this.
Okay.
No, you got to run yours. I get to run mine.
Okay,
I'm going to
fine.
run mine.
Fine.
All right, so here's the deal. When I started this, I wanted to say like, oh, let's compare the original version to the new version. No, I think a more interesting and important discussion to have around this instead is it okay to show our kids classic films when they have aged in incredibly problematic ways?
That's a really good question and something I've thought about a lot because one of my favorite films as a kid is Dumbo, and
Yeah.
Dumbo has a very problematic scene in it with the crows. And so I actually Whoopi Goldberg talked about this.
Yeah.
Is that she encourages, you show that stuff and you explain why it's problematic and why it's wrong.
So to that point,
Yeah.
because that is obviously like that is the correct answer. You explain it, you explain the historical significance of it, and then you identify it and make sure that you're teaching the lessons of the world and history. We have toddlers, and I know you're kind of just entering into this phase from your adventures in dadding a few minutes ago, but we are kind of well into it. And Thea is very much figuring out the world right now. So much so that the other night we came home and she had gotten some Star Wars macaroni and cheese that she wanted to make. And so we made Star Wars macaroni and cheese, and she was so excited about the Star Wars macaroni and cheese. So Star Wars. I was like, fuck it, we're going to sit down and watch Star Wars. We're not going to start with that shitty like prequels with in the box set. We're going straight to the original. So we sat down and we started watching A New Hope, and instantly she started asking like, well, who's that? I was like, yeah, that one's Darth Vader. Yeah. Oh, that's Princess Leia. Oh, look, it's Princess Leia. What are they doing? They're trying to kill her. Why?
Oh, we had that already watching The Lion King.
And I was like, okay, well, they are imperialists who believe in, they're bad guys. Okay. They're shooting. Why are they shooting? Yeah, she was asking us about the shooting. She already knows shooting, which, by the way, 2 years old, I don't know where she knows shooting from. We don't play guns around here, but she knows shooting. And so I was just like, okay, you're right. They shouldn't. Well, because talking, no, the one teacher that talking it out failed is why you shoot. Because they're bad, because they're shooting. And then I started thinking, like, okay, I have to kind of come up with all of these conversations like ahead of time. I have to think about this. I have to think, oh shit, Han Solo's about to come out. I don't know what the fuck I say about Han Solo. Well, yeah, he's doing that. Fuck.
I mean, to be fair, if you're going to watch those movies, they're fighting bad guys. It starts that simply and develops, because we had that with Lion King. Is Daddy Lion asleep? No, he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, and Miles is, he's like, oh, whatever. Is Baby Lion sad? Yep, Baby Lion sad. Why?
So, but in the context of these movies, like these movies are so incredible. Like if
one is far more problematic than the other one, though.
Oh yeah, and it was made. I mean, I don't. So I didn't do the research for this yet, and I feel bad because obviously I ran out of time. I wanted to find out when blackface became taboo. Because look, it's been shitty since it started, but when did it become taboo? Because the original Holiday Inn was made, I believe, if I remember correctly, in 1942, which would have been right as World War II was ending. And then the White Christmas came out in 1954, I believe. So if that's the case, that's a 12-year difference, in which, by the way, Bing Crosby aged terribly in those 12 years.
Yeah.
But I think he was in his 60s.
It's also color versus black and white.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
You know,
that's true.
I can tell you what I think, just going through history, when it probably became somewhat problematic, or at least became something where you did it as a comedy thing, as a social commentary in like Richard Pryor or Gene Wilder sense. Probably the 60s and 70s, when people became more aware of racial tolerance. I guarantee you in the 50s, maybe, but probably not, because it's still that like white, like WASPy, but it's the best example I have of it.
Sure.
Yeah. So, it's funny when you talk about in context of these movies. And so when you said that it brought up a really good, I was thinking about this, and I think when you have, what movies do you deal with that might have problematic stuff in them? So like for these movies, here's my answer. I'm never watching Holiday Inn with my kid. I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth it to me. It is not worth it to me to show that holiday movie.
Yeah, no. And so here's the thing. White Christmas is still like, it makes me happy when I see it because of my childhood.
Yeah.
Holiday Inn was never that. Holiday Inn was a movie that I think I saw a couple times on Turner Classic Movies and didn't understand the I made the connection with the song White Christmas and Bing Crosby. I was like, oh, I wonder if this has something like to do with the one I like. And of course, when I first saw it, I didn't understand blackface and minstrel shows and Mammy and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh man, when they
oh boy, like it's like I saw that, I was like, oh, I forgot about this. And then they called her Mammy. I was like, oh shit. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. I need to.
And that was probably like, listen, at the time, that was probably like this. They were like, no, that movie gave that person agency, and you're like, no, it didn't. Yeah. So with this movie, here's what I would do. Fred Astaire is a beautiful dancer. He is a beautiful dancer. Bing Crosby has a beautiful voice. Like, I'm just gonna show them like clips and be like, "That's Fred Astaire dancing. Pretty fucking cool, isn't it?"
I think I would show her the whole movie.
Oh god,
because I feel like these are easier. Like, Holiday Inn is an easy conversation to have, in my opinion.
Why show it though? Is it actually worth that watching that again? I mean, really?
I think to some degree, yes. So here's my argument.
Okay.
So at some point, you're gonna like. Megyn Kelly just defended blackface.
Yeah.
A couple months ago during Halloween. You're gonna have to explain to these kids why is it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so you can do one of two things. You can explain it and be like, okay, well, it's bad because once upon a time people did, or you can be like, all right, here's a movie. Here's a movie that your grandparents and their parents watched quite a bit and was fond of, and that I saw growing up as a kid. And here is what that shit looks like. And hopefully it makes them incredibly uncomfortable. And if it doesn't, you can explain like, look, this is what's happening here, and this is what it looks like, and this is how you should feel, and how that badness should feel, because it's a shitty thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess for me, like this particular movie, it's not worth watching it. It's just like I can explain that by showing just a clip of what it was and say why it's wrong. It looked like I don't need to watch that whole movie in context because that whole movie is a piece of garbage. Besides some really good dancing and some really good singing.
I mean,
piece of garbage.
I don't think I would go to it's a historical relic. It is not it did not age well.
No.
I think it is a well-crafted film. I think the story is outdated and whatever, but I think as far as a film goes, it's well crafted. Much as I think like Halloween, I think it's a piece of shit, but whatever. It's a well-made movie. It's a whatever.
But this would be the difference between that. I can show a same well-crafted classic movie, but like Halloween is the start of a genre. Like that's the reason I would watch it. It's the start of that genre. I mean, it is heralded in film critiques as like the start of the modern slasher. That's different than this. Like I can show another movie with Fred Astaire or Gene Wilder or Dane Kelly, what the other guy in White Christmas, or Bing Crosby. I can find other movies that can do the same thing and not watch that.
I'm not sure you can. And let me be clear. When I say I'm not sure you can, I mean I'm not sure you can find another film of that era with these type of stories without finding some of the same problematic issues.
No, I think you're right, but I'd rather pick a movie that I enjoy more that faces that. Like I just didn't.
I mean, if you're suddenly going to come out of, I mean, so why didn't you like the movie? Aside from all the political horseshitness.
Well, yeah, I just thought that I didn't find it interesting. I didn't care about the people. For both movies, I can listen to Bing Crosby sing. I can watch them dance because I think it is beautiful and theatrical, and I love that about it. Mm-hmm. But like, I just didn't give a shit about the story. Unlike White Christmas, which eventually it trapped me. It was like a bad relationship that trapped me, and I couldn't leave.
Oh wait, are we still talking about Holiday Inn? Or are we talking about both?
The difference between how I'll get the White Christmas. Holiday Inn I just didn't like.
That's fine. I wasn't particularly
I didn't care about it. Like it just seemed like a waste. I was like, it just wasn't interesting to me. Like Bing Crosby does a good job. Like the acting's okay, but I pretty much watched it until like the awful moments came up, and I was kind of like, I'm done. I took a moment after the blackface scene. I was like, I need a minute.
So here's my one argument for the historical relativism of Holiday Inn. Mm. So first off, it does so much at once that I can justify spending. I think it was 2 hours, right?
It's like 44 minutes.
Okay, 2 hours. 2.5 if you include the conversation. Going through this film that will do so much at once that you get to cover all your bases in one shot. So to that degree, I would say like, look, this is an easy way. I shouldn't say an easy way. This is a way of trying to cover, like, you get to discuss the Mammy character, and when I say the Mammy character, I don't mean the literal character named Mammy in the film, but the
characterization of the black
as Mammy.
Yeah.
Yes. the idea of blackface as in the minstrel show. You get to discuss gender politics, and you also get to portray like what Hollywood was like for women, especially in the golden age of Hollywood, because that's a main focus of that sort of storytelling, and that like, hey, look, these women are willing to do anything and everything to get into cinema, and then look, once this one person does, she's unhappy, but at the same time, fuck you, no, like that's not what would actually happen.
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. For me, this is not a movie. Like, I would just rather watch All About Eve and pair it with another film, because All About Eve, I can do the same thing. Watch, this is what Hollywood was like then, and still kind of is.
Yeah, I feel like All About Eve, though, it's a little bit different, because All About Eve is acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And so All About Eve is very much a film about the problems, whereas this is a film that has the problems. So it's kind of like the difference between watching, I don't know, it's a difference between reading a newspaper and watching Gaslight.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm talking about the wrong film, aren't I? No, Gaslight's...
No, you're
fuck, what's the one I'm talking about?
It's the one about the Boston... It's not Gaslight.
No, it's that's a... This is going to kill you over. Yep. All right, so while you're doing that, while you're looking that up, I'm going to go ahead and rant on the... All right, so... That's kind of my thoughts for Holiday Inn, but White Christmas, I feel like, hits on a different note. White Christmas has problems, but the problems are more understated and less explicit.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
In White Christmas, I mean, it's a charming movie. Like, if you are a white person who...
if you love WASPy Christmas,
if you
great.
Love...
Spotlight, by the way.
Spotlight, thank you. If you love... if you are a white person who wants to feel comfortable and... heartfelt and isn't afraid of a little bit of horrible gender issues, then White Christmas is a charming nostalgia trip through the 1950s era of, like, gosh, wasn't it wonderful after the war when everything was okay and America was great and people took care of each other.
Unless you were black.
They don't fucking touch on that shit in White Christmas. That shit is under the radar. It makes
it even better.
They went, shit, this is a thing now. Let's just.
It's makes it even better for WASPy Christmas.
And so
it's totally WASPy.
Oh no, like yes, it is incredibly WASPy and comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I mean that in all of like the problematic ways, where it's just completely washing away, like in the very 1950s style. It was like, look, everything is wonderful. The only problem is like, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if we could make get this place more business? I know. Let's use all our old army buddies from the war, and I bet they'll do us a favor because, gosh, we loved our general.
You know what? One thing, just before we leave Holiday Inn completely, the one thing I really, besides like the dancing and all that, I like that Holiday Inn kind of had a villain. Like that,
yeah.
Fred Astaire was
kind of cool.
It was nice to like there was like a clear conflict. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that's nice. Where Holiday Inn, I'm like, or White Christmas, I'm like, okay, all right. So you just want to get him married? Okay, it's to help your general.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like Holiday Inn is easy to say. I'm not going to show this to my fucking kids when they're young. For me, I look at White Christmas, like it's so damn charming.
White Christmas is a great kids movie. Great kids movie.
Except for the fact that it's like, hey, the only thing you should really be worried about in life, man or woman, is getting married.
Yep.
You have a career, you have a job, you have something you care about.
Get married.
Yeah, let's get married. The women don't want to marry this person. I bet they can. Give them a kiss. Give them a kiss. Just a kiss is going to solve it. They don't want the kiss? We can get. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Kiss him anyway.
How about them big brown eyes? Oh, I'm probably
that's
big
the
eyes.
problem. That's your biggest problem.
No, I just think it's funny. I just think it's that kind of dialogue just makes.
Here's my favorite moment. Watching this again with a critical eye. what did you eat today? Fuck you.
Well, especially because
Go fuck
Vera
yourself.
Ellen had like
That's
the
what I
smallest
ate.
weight in Hollywood.
Yeah, she was anorexic for
exactly.
a long period of time.
She's a beautiful dancer though.
Absolutely.
So you know what's funny?
I think she died from it too, right?
No, she did not.
No, she didn't.
Okay. I thought that too, but no.
I thought that's what I'd heard.
She had premature aging, so she looked older because of it. So if you look at pictures of her like 5 years before this film, she looks very different.
Okay.
So so there's a couple things as someone who is an actor and studies theater that I have to talk about in this film that I really loved.
Go ahead.
Danny Kaye, guy who plays the friend, his physical comedy is fucking fantastic. Not only is he a good dancer and a good singer, like just the physical comedy routines that he does in this, the vaudevillian, it's brilliant. It's like that's the kind of shit that sucked me into this film. I was like, oh my god, I want to throw up in my mouth because I'm like, it's WASPy Christmas, but then all of a sudden, like, I started to like it. I was like, because I liked it because of Danny Kaye. I liked it because of Danny Kaye and the actor who plays the general, Dean Yeager.
Okay.
Those two actors for me were awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody in this film is good.
Yeah, but those two, because then I got invested in it, and once I was invested, I was like, fuck.
Wait, so what you're saying is when you say investment, you don't mean anything about the character, about the story, about any of that stuff. All you mean is whether or not somebody is a talented actor?
No, so that was what got me into being invested in the character and the story. Because listen, this shit doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't. It's corny.
Well, that's
it's
because you're
hokey,
heartless.
It's not funny. It's not fun. Like
it is absolutely funny.
All I have to do, yeah, you're right. Because Danny Kaye's physical comedy is great.
All of these movies have some wonderful witticism in it. They show up at the Vermont Inn and they say, well, where's all the snow? Oh, we keep it indoors during the day. That's great. That is a great witty line.
Waspy White Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. So I got into it because I started really liking the performance of Danny Kaye, though I did think I could just have watched all the musical numbers and been fine with this movie. It was like 40 minutes too long. It's 2 straight hours of just song.
See, I'm ironically of the other end of it. Like, I wish each of these musical numbers was about half the length, with the exception of White Christmas. You can just play White Christmas underneath all of the movie and I'll be happy.
I could just watch the musical numbers from the film and not watch the movie. Because that's what Bing Crosby movies kind of are. They're just kind of him doing a singing show.
Well, yeah, that's what the era was.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't need to watch the movie. But what got me into it was I thought Danny Kaye was really funny. And so I was like, I liked watching him. The more I watched him, the more I got invested in his character and what was happening. And I thought that Dan Yeager, the major, like his performance is so good and so believable. Like, whereas I believed him. I believed the need of an older person wanting and needing to do something, that it affected me. That story affected me. And because it affected me, I liked it. It's the same issue I have with the other like freeform Christmas movies. I don't care about anyone in it, and there's no good acting, so I definitely don't care about anyone in it.
So okay, whatever.
That's it. That's just
no. I mean, I forget. And when I say whatever, I mean like, like as far like okay, you don't care about the acting, you don't like this. That's not really what interests me as far as a conversation with these movies.
Yeah. But that's what
like
makes me enjoy or not.
What I find like, and again, like as far like these two, like we can talk about enjoyment with other movies, but these two movies, I don't really find the interesting thing to be enjoyment. I find the interesting thing to be like the difficulty and the nature of showing them to the kids. And so one of the things that I wanted to, so we talked a little bit about race. We talked a little bit about the gender politics. So the last thing I think is a worthwhile conversation, especially for Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn deals very specifically with a period of time, like those years shortly after World War II.
This was White Christmas. I mean,
that's the movie I'm talking about.
Oh, you just said Holiday Inn.
Did I?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Holiday Inn. You know, whatever. Go fuck itself. It's not really a thing. But White Christmas is very specifically addressing World War II and kind of the aftermath of that war.
The 1950s era, rise of the middle class, all that good stuff.
So here's the question I have. Does that take place in the 1950s or is it filmed in the 1950s?
It is 10 years after World War II.
It is 10 years after.
Yes, so it would be
okay, so it would be 1952.
1952, 1953, depending upon when they were in battle.
Okay.
because they make their Broadway career over 10 years.
Sure. Okay. I forgot about that. I know there's that montage where they're doing their thing. I couldn't remember
I did a
how
bunch
long
of
it
research
spanned.
on this film while watching.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. So you can be my historical.
Because I really
then.
like. Because again, I really like some of the actors and stuff that happens in it.
So one of my concerns with showing White Christmas to kids is the way it kind of oversimplifies the effects of war. It's like, oh gosh, look, everybody is so happy and whatever after war, and like, okay, there was a bombing and buildings fell down, but look, nobody really got hurt, and the people who did get hurt, they turned into giant star-studded musicians, and everybody who came away from it, like, nobody died in the movie, and so everybody's just gonna walk away, and everybody's happy, and everybody became famous, and everybody's super fan. Look, oh, you're my buddy from war. Gosh, I'm going to give you airtime on national television so that you can ask for everybody to come and help save the generals in. And oh gosh, look, they're all going to leave their families on Christmas.
So I think you deal with it the same way you would watch why you'd watch Holiday Inn is because it is a product of the time because it's that greatest generation, and we forget too. I think that like we forget that those World War II soldiers, right? They were looked at and viewed so differently than the Korean War and the Vietnam War and the Gulf War and the current conflicts. Like that's how they viewed it. They made it out of this thing, and you didn't talk about PTSD and you didn't talk about the effects of war and what it did to you. All they saw was this booming post-war economy that was great if you were middle class and white.
But that's not what I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish
I'm just saying. So like when you watch this movie and you see how it glorifies war, because that's what it's doing. It is glorifying.
Yeah,
war.
absolutely.
World War II is a glorified war. It is,
sure.
And so if I'm watching with my kid and you watch that versus like Saving Private Ryan, that's where I talk about this is an era of a time. They viewed it as the war was a positive thing. It was a good thing. It fixed the economy. It gave us heroes. We won.
My issue though is I feel like White Christmas I feel like is a relic in the way that Holiday Inn is a relic in some ways, in which it's actually, I think it's the opposite. It's not a depiction of, it is an embracement of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So rather than being like, look, this is what war was like and this is how people dealt with it, this was just how they were dealing with it. This isn't the showing of somebody with PTSD who refuses to talk about it. This is the film that pretends PTSD and battle wounds and all of these things that would really happen. This film doesn't deal with that. It's just, this is it pretending it doesn't exist.
And to be clear, if you watch pretty much anything from this generation up through to get to near Vietnam, it's all of how World War II, even like the war movies in World War II are that way because it's...
Oh yeah, look at Patton. Yeah. Which is even an older movie. It's a newer movie. Like that was the 1960s or 70s, right?
It's because you're looking at what a lot of older Americans view as a golden time. I mean, it's the... Like there's the joke
even today. Well,
there's the joke about being a Democrat
especially
in White
today.
Christmas, which I thought was really funny because it's the Gerald Ford era, right? It is literally probably what the "Make America Great" bullshit is all about. It's going back to this.
Sure.
So I think that like that's why here's the thing. I think for kids like something like White Christmas, even for me, I think it's great because you kind of get a glimpse of war and that you can get hurt in war and that war has elements that can be scary, and you can start to introduce this before you ever get into something that's like. Crazy. Like I think that's why Patton's a great film. Like that was the film my parents used to introduce like war to me because it's still safe, but it's grittier than this.
Sure.
I really don't find that problematic. I find that's not like a problem. I think like the way they talk about women in it, and like you said, like just get kissed and get married. However, they do give the actress Vera Ellen,
the dancer, right?
A little bit of agency in this film where she like kind of seduces Danny Kaye.
I mean, yes, and that's kind of a common trope, right? Is the woman who seduces the man into marriage? Like, but it's always about marriage. It's never about like it starts off like, hey, we're gonna get ahead with our career. Nope, marriage. Well, like within my other problem with this when it comes to that is like all of the couples are like, instantly in love. It's like, oh, hey, we just met. Wait, weren't we arguing like literally through? Oh, your eyes are blue,
You mean
brown, whatever. Fuck
every
you.
Christmas movie you ever watched, there's romance in it.
No, I wouldn't go that
Mario
far.
Lopez, your shirt's off, and I kidnapped you, but I guess we're in love now.
Well, they spend like 2 hours of that film hating each other, though. It's not like, okay, so in real time, like as far as like, and I want to be clear here, in real time of how long these people are together, like, yeah, no, fucking, it's been like 6 hours. Yeah, no shit. They're like, you wouldn't be. But in cinematic time, where it's like you have to have some sort of a conflict before you're magically in love.
But they actually are together at this inn longer than you think they are. They're together a lot, just them. Also, she does kind of seduce him to further her career. That's part of it. And she has a line where she mentions that she's like now that she's financially or her career's okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Well, but
like,
that's that she can like marry off her sister, though. It's not for her. It's for they can marry off her sister.
I wish I wrote that down. There's a line where she basically mentions now that I'm.
Oh no, this movie I know well.
Because she says now that I'm okay, we can make sure you're okay.
Yes, they're sitting down in their like dressing room, getting ready for bed. Her sister is laying in bed crying because she just found out that what's his face is going to
Bing Crosby's character.
Bing Crosby is going to go on the Ed Sullivan show or whatever the hell the fake version of it is, and sell out the whoever. No, it wasn't Ed Sullivan. It was Ed something.
I'm gonna look because I'm.
And so like, oh, now my sister's getting married, and so I'm all alone. I guess I have to go off on my own and do that. No, she's explaining like, oh, I want these two to get married, and we're standing in the way. So I'm going to try and explain like, look, I'm financially independent. I'm going to be married, which is why people get married, is to be financially independent, which is weird and crazy.
And
but
they're all older,
1950s,
so they're supposed to be married.
They are all, well, yeah, but they're entertainers, and so it's okay if you're an entertainer. But you're supposed to be married.
But you're also not supposed to be an entertainer, because let's be clear.
Yeah, if you're a woman,
it's not a good career.
If you're a man, maybe, but probably not. Do you have any final? I will give you the final word, Nick.
So I was just gonna say, I ended up liking White Christmas a lot, actually.
Really? I would not have gotten that from this.
Again, I find it really problematic, but there were things that I really enjoyed watching, and it cooked me enough that I cared about the ending. I like the ending of this film.
Yeah.
I like that. To me, if I'm going to watch a cheesy, corny Christmas movie, I kind of like this. It's too long for me, but I like that at the end, they give this person who's meant a lot to them, which that is true of war, right? Your leader, your commander, like that. Yeah. That I love when you talk about war.
I mean, I assume, I don't know, but sure.
But they talk about, I know from family members too, like that's an important thing. And they talk about loving him. Like they talk about, it was just it's the brotherhood of being a soldier. And I thought they did that in a really cool way in this, and they give him a gift. It was heartwarming to me.
Yeah.
And I liked that, because that to me is the Christmas spirit. Is they gave this person, thought he had been forgotten. Right. They even said, like, the army, they use you, great general comes home, and all of a sudden no one knows you anymore. And like, that's
what was it? We ate, and then he ate. We slept, and then he slept.
Yep. And then he kept us up 48 hours. And he even says, there's the song he sings or says, they roll out the red carpet, the velvet carpet, and then General Who, and that's as close as it gets to the problems of war, right? That you sent these people back home and asked them to just not be soldiers anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what this general does. And so at the end, you see all these people that he's meant the world to, and that he commanded, and he kept alive and saved, and they give him a gift. And I thought that was like, that gave me that Christmas feels. The problem is, it's just...
Oh, I see. We just had to make you cry. We had to make you feel terrible for you to get all Christmassy.
You had to make me like a character. Right, yeah, I liked the general. So
you just like the people who are miserable. I get it.
No,
it's okay. You have to be dying or suffering.
Yeah, I have to invest.
You have to have some sort of a terrible, awful thing happen to you for you to feel Christmassy. No, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So with this week, we kind of went through a classic film and dealt with some of the issues of dealing with an older film, with an older era that maybe you cherished, and
WASPy Christmas.
watching it in a modern time. Next week, we're going to go in a completely different direction.
I'm so excited for this film. I'm so excited.
We are going to watch, and I have never seen either of these, and so I am really, I haven't seen this one. I am really excited. We're going to watch El Camino Christmas.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It is on Netflix. So from what I can tell, it is Tim Allen and a bunch of other just absolutely wonderful actors.
Dak Shepard.
Let people be surprised by who shows up into this.
That's the only
Nick,
one I ever
don't spoil this. A lot of wonderful, wonderful actors who are going to show up in what appears to be the most trashy, white trash conservative Christmas movie imaginable.
It's the new
It looks
WASPy
like
Christmas.
Gun Rights Christmas for Dummies. Oh god, I am so excited. To be clear, I also think it's kind of mocking the gun rights thing, but I don't know because Tim Allen's in it and he's definitely a conservative. So I don't know. I'm just really excited for this.
I can tell you it does not have a good Rotten Tomato
I'm
rating.
sure it has a terrible Rotten Tomato rating. I don't care. I'm dying to watch this.
Holy shit, it does have a really good cast.
God, yeah, I know. Don't spoil it.
won't.
So,
right.
we'll be back next week with that movie. So if you want to get a head start, go for it.
I'm willing to bet I like this movie.
I think you actually will
Because
too.
it's going to have crude humor and fart jokes. I find that stuff great in Christmas movies.
So that being said, the week after, which will be Christmas. Actually, it'll be the same week. We're just going to fucking release an extra episode like the day of Christmas, so you can have we are going to have a poll for the final film. I have a few ideas that I'm going to put up in the poll. I'm not going to tell you what they are though. You're going to have to find our Two Dumb Dads Facebook group, and we will have the poll up there. Hopefully by the time you listen to this episode. So. Find us, vote, and because Nick said he's going to politic for some other dumb thing, he doesn't get to politic like I did for which movie wins this. Because I for no better reason than I say so, which means of course he's going to break that rule.
I'm sure there's a movie I can politic for that I'll want to watch over other ones.
I'm sure there's like 8 of them, but
yeah,
the point is,
I'm sure it's going to be WASPy Christmas galore.
Oh, I honestly haven't decided like how I'm going to do that. I know there's at least 2 films I really want to include, but I want to try and get to 4 or 5. 5 especially because then I can fracture the vote in a way that I can politic and win the day.
Just so you know, when Halloween comes around again, we're doing double features because you broke that rule.
1 double feature.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Let me tell you.
I'm sure it's going to be like a Cannibal Corpse Island 1 and 2
exactly
or some dumb shit.
It's going to be some
that.
really shitty movies that are awesome in their shittiness.
For the record, I've given you tour de force thus far. Well,
Listen,
we'll see about the next one.
I ended up liking White Christmas, and I would show it to my kids.
I can justify each of the movies we've watched thus far as being perfectly reasonable choices.
Yeah, for WASPy Christmas.
All right, so that's going to bring us to our email segment, which I honestly don't know if we have any emails. I haven't gotten any notifications for emails. So I'm going to assume we don't have any emails. If we do have emails, I apologize, Tom. But if we don't, then you can, of course, send us your thoughts, your suggestions, your recommendations, your explanations for why I have terrible taste in Christmas movies to emails@twodumbdads.com. That's emails at the number 2dumbdads.com. But that being said, that's going to bring us to recommendations.
You go first because I have to find my recommendation.
And I have a wonderful recommendation. And I'm going to be honest with you. So last time I think I made a recommendation that was kind of specific to the New York tri-state area and really any tourists who might be thinking about visiting Broadway in the near future. I'm actually going to narrow that scope even further.
Even more.
To people who live in New Jersey who follow something I think it's called the Tri-State Railway Association.
Oh, I know what you're recommending.
And know a very brief window when tickets go on sale. So I want to recommend the Santa Train. This was an amazing thing that we did last weekend. It's just a wonderful family event. So basically, I'm going to just call it the Train Club, although I think it was called the Tri-State Railway Association. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a club full of train enthusiasts who once a year they work with the New Jersey Transit Railway System, and they decorate one of their trains up in just the most festive of Christmassy ways. And and they have people come on for an hour-long train ride with Santa Claus and
That's cool.
Snoopy and a caroler, and they claim to have hot chocolate, but they didn't give us hot chocolate. I'm filing a protest. But we got candy canes, and Thea got a gift, and of course I was so cheery and excited because she was having fun that I got her a shirt, and then I got her a train whistle, and then I got her I think that's all I got her. But it was a lot of fun. It was like a really wonderful, wholesome family experience. We got up early. We put on our ugly Christmas sweaters, and we got there and stood out in the cold for an hour because they sent us an email the day before, like, okay, you have to get here exceptionally early or else you may not get a seat. You may not be able to sit together. You may be left behind. If you are not here at least an hour early, you may be stuck in the parking lot trying to fight off a Yeti for who knows how long while you wait. So please arrive. We got there an hour early and nothing. There was nothing. We just stood there like, and they just kind of came up to us like, so just so you know, there may be some half-dressed individuals.
Cause SantaCon.
No, not SantaCon, just the Santas weren't dressed yet.
Okay.
So it was like basically they're saying like Santa might be here, but he may only have his like half his beard, no hat, no shirt, whatever, because they're still getting ready.
You mean a Santa's helper might be there?
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever. I was just kind of like, guys, if she figures out Santa doesn't exist, I really don't care. But anyway, the point is, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good time.
So contradictory.
What do you mean?
I love Christmas. Christmas is great. I love Christmas spirit. If she figures out Santa isn't real, fuck it.
Yeah, because look, Santa to me isn't Christmas.
Oh.
It's not. Like, for me, Santa is like the joy on earth and peace to and goodwill towards man.
I forget you don't like magic. And you don't like magical things.
And so I really don't care. Not real magic, because magic isn't real.
Oh my god.
What I love is fake magic and the magic of like, oh look, I'm dancing my hand over here and then I pull a card out of my ear, because that's real magic. Is the illusion of magic. And so I like the illusion of peace on earth and goodwill towards man, because we all know there is no peace on earth and goodwill towards man. I just want to fake it for a little bit. Nick, what's your recommendation?
Sorry, I'm just dealing with the 90-year-old man that is over intellectual like you, that has a kid that one day you're gonna be like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, Uncle Nick, Santa's not real, and this is why. And Miles is gonna be like, what? And I'm gonna be like, Chris, God damn it, I want my kid to believe in magic because he's a kid. I want my kid to be a kid.
Oh, so we are so not in the right section for this, but can I tell you that we almost already gave away Santa?
Let her be a kid. Let her be a fucking kid and believe in shit.
So we were sitting on the couch, and like we're still not used to the idea that she understands what's happening.
Yeah.
And so we were just talking on the couch, like we noticed on Facebook, like, oh, our neighbor's telling her kids that Santa's not real this year. And so we're just like, oh, Aaron, did you see that Michelle's telling the kids next year? Like, and so we started having this conversation about it, like trying to dance around it. And then at some point I just kind of went, should we maybe not be having this conversation right now while Thea's sitting here watching like Spy Kids on TV? And Aaron just goes, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't, should we? Like, shit, we are going to have the kid that goes into school at like 3 years old and is like, yeah, Santa's bullshit. Mom and dad leave that out. But if you say that Santa's real, you get dope presents.
You're going to have the kid that doesn't believe in magic and like in the way the kids should until they're a certain age. That's like a fundamental thing I think you're going to steal from your child.
I mean, yeah, but that just means that I'm going to have the kid that can do the magic for other kids.
No, you have the kid where other kids like, you're an asshole.
Nah.
Funny story about this though that actually Sarah read to me that I share with my students because it was great. So she was reading a post on Facebook about like this teacher walks into a preschool, and the preschool has a large Jewish population. So there's like this group of like 4 to 6 year old Jewish kids talking, and this one kid, and this is a true story, kid comes over and goes, oh, wait, we're all Jewish, right? And they're like, yeah. They're like, yeah. Like, so guys, remember, we have to keep the Santa Claus thing secret. It's really important. And I thought exactly. I was like, that is the most pure, beautiful thing ever. So I have a Jewish kid in my class, and I was like, hey, I told them the story. And they're like, no, it's so true. Like, we take that shit seriously.
Aww.
For you. I was like, I appreciate you because kids should believe in magic.
That's really sweet.
I know,
though.
isn't that awesome? Like, so just, if you run into some Jewish kids, know that they take that job really fucking seriously.
Yo, I'm just saying, OG Christian here. Y'all believe your magic bullshit. We know the truth because we created this shit for you.
And it's secular at this point anyway. But
yeah, Christmas is super secular.
Yeah, I fully believe in secular
we fully celebrate. My family fully celebrates secular Christmas.
So does mine. This being said, reason for the season, Santa Claus. My recommendation is a podcast that I have fallen in love with. It's called Ear Hustle. It's by Radiolab.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one.
It's so good. If you like storytelling and you like prison, if your prison intrigues you, which it does me because I never want to go, but I'm interested in it. It's great. It's really well hosted. It's good episodes. There's 3 seasons of it. I've marathoned it. I am in love with this.
I haven't
podcast.
started it yet, but I've heard good things.
I think you'll like because you like stories. If you like storytelling, it's great.
Yeah. Do you want to tell a little bit about why it's special?
So it's actually created in San Quentin prison.
Yeah.
And one of the hosts was a prisoner, though he has gotten out or is going to be getting out.
Right.
I'm not that far into it yet. I'm still in season 1, which I'm almost done with. But it's awesome. Like it's a cool podcast to listen to.
And if I remember correctly, it's been announced that he's going to continue doing his podcast from the outside as part of the which group is it?
Radiolab?
No, it's not Radiolab. I think it is Radiotopia, who's part of 99% Indivisible.
He also said he's going to become an podcast editor too.
Yeah.
Like they're giving him a job, which is so important because when you get out of prison, that's one of the hardest things to find.
All right, so we have 1 out of however many million.
Sure, but something. I mean, I know. Like, I
it's something. I'm glad one person got to do it.
I mean, I don't know. I always look at shit like that.
It is good. I'm glad that somebody got a job out of prison.
And also, like, I think what's really great about the podcast is the sharing of stories and making these people because they're forgotten.
Absolutely.
And I think it's great.
Absolutely.
Really good listen. I highly recommend it.
Definitely a better system than Orange is the New Black.
Yeah. That's what I got.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at @NWestmeyer on Instagram, at @NWestmeyer on Twitter, and at two dumb dads on Instagram.
You can find me at Chris Mossigan on Twitter. You can find me at Rampant55 on Twitch, and of course you can find us at our website twodumbdads.com.
Hey Chris, what you baking?
Oh shit, we didn't do baking. Big-tastic.
What are you baking?
I am baking cookies. I made the family recipe chocolate chip cookies, which are the most unhealthy cookies in the world because they use Crisco instead of. Wait, no, don't go. I'm making I made white chocolate chip cookies. No, I said that one last time.
I made croissant bread.
Be well.